I intended to have a short and sweet vlog for the first half of October, do a second one for the second half of October. But what happened in mid-October is I started picking up crochet again. Yeah, so every moment I had free that I wasn't reading, I was crocheting. I'm doing a very simple blanket just to get back into the groove of things, and all I wanted to do was crochet. So there's no editing happening, nothing like that, just crochet. So what's happening is this October wrap up is going to be vlog style, just so I can put all that footage together because I shot it, I like it. So vlog style, and this is the catch up video. It is November 1st. I realized I don't want to sit down and do a whole long, like, regular sit down wrap up. So we're doing this, and then I will be back at the end of this vlog to wrap up what I've read since the last footage I had. It is Thursday. I just got home from work about 45 minutes ago, and I got home and immediately did my post-driving stretching. Then I still had to do a 10-minute meditation to center myself and de-stress because it's getting crazy out there, y'all. People don't know how to drive. People forgot how to drive. These kids who are coming up, they don't know how to drive. And on top of that, your friendly booktuber who wears glasses, I'm not wearing them now because it's hot, has astigmatism. And driving at night is bad enough without every single new car now having LED lights. And on top of that, all of these lifted trucks have giant LED lights. And, like, I'm sorry that you have a small penis, but why do you have to make that my problem? Why? Zen. We're trying. I'm trying. What are we doing tonight? I am sweating. Do you see this cute little tote bag? This is Mysterious Galaxy. They're a store in San Diego. They're very cool. What am I doing? Okay, first, I'm starting a vlog because why not? I guess what I'm gonna do is I did actually last weekend take a quick little trip to Little Tokyo in LA, and I just wandered around, so I'll put some footage there. I didn't really do much. I originally wanted to go visit Kinokuniya, the Japanese bookstore, but I had no idea that they moved. So the one I was used to was empty, and when I looked up where they moved to, it showed that they were temporarily closed at the new location. So there went that. But I guess kudos, that's good for my bank account because I didn't go buy notebooks like I thought I would. I'm going to wait a little bit to buy my 2026 Hobonichi. This is just a catch-all, like, whatever the fuck. So I got some mail in. I have my Aardvark box for October. She got a little squished in the mail, but that's okay. I hope it's okay. Let's see. I do remember what I got. Yes. Okay. So, oh, okay. So I got Aardvark's first curated short story collection featuring authors that have had Aardvark books before. So this is One Bad Night, a short story collection anthology This is a fantastic cover. The blues, the black, the way it pops. Unfortunately, it's kind of... Oh, no, that's part of it, I think. Yeah, okay, no. I thought there was like smudge or whatever, but it's actually part of the cover. This is a fantastic cover. And here are the authors on the back. So we have, I think, I'm so confused. Whatever. We have stories by Kay Chronister, Del Sandine, Kylie Lee Baker, Rachel Harrison, CJ Lead, Jennifer Thorne, S.A. Barnes, and Stephen Graham Jones. And then the fun of this, I believe, yes. Yes. Look at that. Oh my gosh. That is so pretty. That is gorgeous. That is a blue foil hardcover. I don't think there's any other art or anything like that. Author's note. Let me skim through. Nope. There's not like art or anything like that. I don't think there's any chapter art. Nah. But so yeah. That is One Bad Night and Other Stories. I am probably going to read this month. It's spooky season. Although I have so much else that I want to read this month. What's next? How about a TBR? Okay, so first I want to talk about, because this is going to explain, okay, not all of it, but I want to talk about Pagebound. This is they're not quite new. I knew about them like months ago. I signed up months ago. Didn't really vibe with the app at the time, but they've kind of kicked off now that they have it was website only, but now that they have an app for Android and iOS, they kicked off, went a little viral on TikTok, so there's a lot more people, and I just made a new account and went on there, and that was literally 2 days ago, and I'm on there all the time now. I love it. It is essentially putting the focus on chat and discussion and social interaction. And it's a little gamified in some ways, but one of the things I really like is that there's no timestamps on anything. And that is on purpose because they want to foster discussion. Every book technically has its own forum. Anytime you post an update in a book, it'll show up in the when you go to the book page at random. You can do a discussion post for a book in a book's forum. So they wanted to remove timestamps so that anybody could feel comfortable discussing a book on any post at any time and not feel like they missed the boat, you know? So I've really been liking that. They have quests that the creators have made, and then also certain users are able to make. You can make lists. I made a list today that was mysteries set in space. I've just had a lot of fun just chatting. It's great. I really, really like it. And I really like that social aspect where like other apps, you can kind of feel like Instagram, you're just posting into the void, you know, you're at the mercy of the algorithm. This one is just, you literally just start chatting in a post. Everybody's so friendly. Everybody jokingly calls Pagebound the website for yappers, and I kind of love that. But yeah, I'm having a lot of fun. I'm adding it to my links of where you can find me down below. Please feel free to friend me, add me. If you have any questions about how the site's running, like I am still learning it myself, but I've pretty much gotten the hang of it, so I'm having a lot of fun. And part of the fun of Pagebound is that they have quests and they have read-alongs. And you can get little badges for if you complete a read-along. So right now, it's their October read-along, and you get a little pumpkin badge. If you read one book, if you read all 5, you get a shiny pumpkin badge. And I want the shiny pumpkin badge. Now, I have read 3 of the 5 books previously, so they do account for that. So I just have 2 books to read for this. The first one that I have to read for it is Don't Let the Forest In by C.G. Drews. This is a YA horror, and this is a freaking, I've known about this since it came out just because the cover has always drawn me, but I haven't really like been drawn to it as a story. I did not freaking notice this. Oh my god, dude, what the whoa, I never noticed that on the back. So this art is incredible. So everybody on Pagebound is, you know, this is a big book everyone's discussing because of the read-along, so I'm gonna read this soon. The other book for the seasonal read-along is Tender is the Flesh by Agustina Bastarrica. I have wanted to read that for years. So 2 books. The other books that they did, like this is the app. It's so pretty. A Dowry of Blood, which I read. The Spell Shop, which I read and loved last year. And Blood Over Bright Haven, which I read this year and loved. So I have high hopes for Don't Let the Forest In, and kind of dubious about Tender as the Flesh, but also very curious. So I am having a lot of fun in Pagebound. And then they do have a teaser for their next read-along, which is going to be a Dia de los Muertos read-along, which is from October 15th to November 15th. So I'm going to try to read all those 3 books. So we're just going to call this a TBR section now. So we had Don't Let the Forest In, Tender is the Flesh by Agustina Basterica, and then putting on my late October into November TBR, we're just going to call this a fall TBR. For this read-along, it is Cemetery Boys by Aidan Thomas, Vampires of El Norte by Isabel Cañas, and Gods of Jade and Shadow by Silvia Moreno Garcia. So all 3 books that I'm very aware of, that I've wanted to read at some point, never really made a effort to really put them on TBRs, but I will be doing that October 15th through November 15th. So that is stuff from Pagebound. Now, library. Last month I read a lot of manga, and that put me back in a huge manga mood. So I have just been going to my library and just grabbing manga that seems interesting, which is essentially how I kind of find manga, because I didn't grow up reading manga, so I go by recommendations and just stuff that looks interesting. I have the first 3 volumes of one called Whoever Steals This Book. This is about a girl who is descended from a long line of book collectors, and she secretly hates books. And when a thief in the hall that she lives in triggers an ancient curse, she has to reclaim the stolen books by herself by entering the very stories she despises. So it's kind of like a journey into another world portal, maybe not an isekai, but like kind of a portal one. And there were 3 there, so I grabbed it. I grabbed some graphic novels. So the first, and I have a bookmark in here because I intended to read it the other night. This is Mismatched by Anne Camlin. This is a YA contemporary retelling of Emma by Jane Austen, which is my favorite Jane Austen. And the art looks very cute, very colorful. I'm excited to read this one. Then I have, this is Never Open It by Ken Nimura. I saw this at a Barnes & Noble years ago and never actually grabbed it. I've just never remembered to look at the library, or like when I first saw it, my library didn't have it, but it was on the shelf, so I grabbed it because I've wanted it for years. And these are like it's a collection of 3 stories that are rooted in Japanese folk tales. This looks very interesting, very black and white, interesting art. So spooky. Laura Dean Keeps Breaking Up With Me by Mariko Tamaki. This, I think since this came out, it's been on like vaguely nebulous TBRs. So yeah, and this one is monochrome with shades of pink. So I am looking forward to reading this finally. I did get Toilet Bound Hanahako-kun Volume 1 because I keep seeing this everywhere. I was curious. I read it. Not for me, but I read it. I have Witch Hat Atelier, volumes 12 and 13. These are the next 2 that I have to read. I'm enjoying this series. It is kind of in a lull for me in terms of like my personal enjoyment, but hoping to get back to it and get back into the fun of it. So these 2 volumes. The library I go to near work closed down to renovate, and they have opened up under a new library system. So first of all, yay new library system for me to add to Libby. And then also I'm really glad they're open again because they're literally like a mile away from my office. I can go there to kill time, and I just wander. And I didn't realize that I thought I knew where all the graphic novels and manga were, but that was just the YA stuff. I found the adult section. I found the next 4 volumes of Zom 100. Zom 100, this is a dumb, silly series that I love. The humor is exactly my humor. I enjoy it so much. essentially the zombie apocalypse happened and our main character was like a corporate slave, and he was like, oh my god, I don't have to work anymore. Like, this is fantastic. There's a bucket list. And like they have a found family. So it's silly. It's stupid. I love it so much. So I have volumes 13 through 16 to read through. This was a hold I picked up after the Booker Prize shortlist was announced. This is Audition by Katie Kitamura. This was essentially pretty much the only one that really caught my interest in the shortlist. And I started reading a little bit of it at the bookstore last weekend, and I was intrigued, not intrigued enough to buy it at, what is it, $28 freaking dollars? $28 for a less than 200 page book. What are we doing here anymore? What are we doing here? $28 for this. That's insane. I grabbed The Moonflower Murders by Anthony Horowitz. I read the first book, which was, what was it called? The Magpie? No, not The Magpie Murders. Yeah, it was The Magpie Murders. It was really cool, very meta, a murder mystery, like kind of like gave very Agatha Christie Poirot, and it was kind of like a book within a book as well, which the same thing is happening here. Literally, you're reading the story with our main character in the current time, and then you get a book within the book, and the book is actually important to whatever mystery is happening. So this is the second one in this series. I believe there are 4 of them, and each of them has the same conceit. So that's a chunky one though. So I don't know if I'm gonna get to it. I do have a bookmark in here because I meant to start reading it the other night and just didn't get to it. So all of these, other than, like, I picked up Audition yesterday. I picked up Audition and all of the Zom 100 volumes yesterday after work. And then I went again today after work and started browsing again. And so I picked up Stag Dance by Tori Peters. My coworker really liked this, and I did get it on Libby when he told me about it because it was available. And I literally just read the first page and I looked at him and I was like, oh my god. And he was like, right? So I grabbed the physical book too, just because. And there were 2 copies on the shelf, so I don't feel bad about renewing this if I don't read it right away. And then, like I said on Pagebound, I did create a list for mysteries set in space, and there were like 2 or 3 books on there that I personally have not read, but the list is so small that I wanted to include them. And one of them is 6 Wakes by Mur Lafferty. Mur Lafferty has done like their version of A Cozy in Space, which was Station Eternity, I think. I do own that one, so I haven't read it. I am going to read that one as well, but I was at the library, I was thinking about it, and so I grabbed 6 Wakes. Don't know if I'm going to read it, but if I can renew it when the time comes, I will renew it. And then I don't know why I picked this up. I thought, ooh, I should read that. I have DNF'd it once before, but I still kind of want to try it again. Maybe it was just the mood I was in at the time, because this is just essentially a modern classic, and I want to know. I don't think I'm gonna get to this. This was literally an impulse grab. This is The 3-Body Problem by Cixin Liu. I have no idea if I'm gonna get to this. Honestly, if I'm gonna pick anything up of these piles here, this is gonna be on the bottom. So we'll see. So yeah, that was my pile of books. They're now in a pile in front of me. I was gonna do more, but then I realized what time it was. I do have a project going on here that I will probably talk about in a separate video. Yeah, so tomorrow we are actually, me and my husband are going up to Idlewild. We're going up Mount San Jacinto, I believe is where Idlewild is, for a wedding. We're gonna spend the night there. It's supposed to be a really cute foresty town. Not sure what books I'm gonna take with me. If I do any reading, it's gonna be on the drive there or back. That's about an hour-and-a-half drive for us, so I have all of that time, possible time. If not, then I don't have the time. That's all I've got for now. I realized what time it was, and I still have to edit my September wrap-up, so I'm gonna do that instead of talking about this project like I want to. We're gonna do that in a separate video. So welcome. I've done a lot of talking. Welcome to the vlog. Hello, quick update. First, the shirt that my husband got me. It's freaking cool. It's probably gonna be the last hot weekend in SoCal, so this is the last chance I had to wear it since it is a tank top. Let's see. We went to a wedding yesterday, spent the night up in Aidalro. Beautiful little mountain town. Absolutely terrifying fucking drive. Terrifying mountain drive. Yeah, I never want to do that again. That was terrifying. Let's see, we went to a market night tonight, bought a few things, and then I did read a couple of things today. So first I read Mismatched by Camlin. This is a young adult graphic novel retelling of Emma by Jane Austen. Emma is my favorite Jane Austen, so that is why I picked this up. Dog is licking herself, so if you hear snuffling, that's what that is. This is very cute. The art is really sweet, very, very vibrant and colorful. I do wish that there was a little more kind of excitement in the art. It is very just straight block, nothing really interesting in terms of space or setting and stuff like that. Like a lot of pages are just like these plain backgrounds, but then you have stuff like this. So it's nice for what it's doing, but I wish it did a little more. In terms of the actual story, I think this, wow, why is that crooked? That's so crooked. Where was I? I think this being a retelling of Emma became kind of a crutch for the storytelling because it feels like a lot of plot beats were hit because that's how it happens in Emma. This is a contemporary queer young adult retelling set in high school. Evan, who is supposed to be Emma, is a queer kid. There's a lot of queer rep. It's actually kind of amazing. It's really, really great. But I think moving Emma into contemporary lens, you get some of the characterization of Evan as Emma did fit Emma, but a lot of the storytelling, it just felt choppy. Like it felt like scenes were written by themselves and then just kind of sewn and stitched together without any great ways of moving between and connecting scenes. Like a scene would end and then we just move on to the next one. How much time has passed by between scenes? I don't know. So it was cute. And then the ending felt really rushed because I know why certain characters made certain decisions in this because that's how it happens in Emma. This character made this decision to be with this person because that's how it happens in Emma. But it felt really rushed and kind of like, oh, okay, that's what just happened there. Really cute for what it's doing, for its audience. It's great. If you like Emma and you know the story a little further, I think the context helps, but it does stand alone, but it's not going to be entirely 100% satisfying, I think. Good for its age range, absolutely. I would say this is anywhere from 12 to 18. Like really, really great for its age range. And again, super cute, lots of queer rep, really good to have. Then I read random manga I picked up from my library. This is called Whoever Steals This Book. This is a story about a young girl who is part of a family in a town full of books that loves books, lots of bookshops, because her grandfather, I think, was a book lover, big collector, and he had this massive like home that had tons of books and people, you know, the town always came in, but then somebody stole books, so they closed it up and it's all mysterious and everybody in the town is obsessed with books and she is not. She doesn't like books. She hates that everybody is obsessed with her family because of how they're known in the town. One day she goes into the place where the family's library is and she discovers that something weird is afoot and she has to go into certain books to hunt down whoever is stealing books. And honestly, if that sounded vague, it's because I was so bored. I was so bored after like maybe a third of this. It's a good idea, but the execution was boring. It was really boring, and I found the main character annoying because I don't know how many times I can be told that she fucking hates books and hates her family's legacy before I start to be like, well, I hate you too. So, boring. I'm not going to continue on. Good idea, but just not for me. Those are the two things I read today. I don't know what I'm going to continue on. But I don't know how long this vlog is gonna go, but we'll see how it goes. What is my hair doing? I don't know, but you can't really see it, so ha. Quick check-in. I haven't really done anything else. Today is October 14th, and that puts us at midway through the month, so I think I'm gonna wrap up this vlog, experiment, whatever I'm doing, and maybe call it like first 2 weeks of October kind of vlog. I think previously I've talked about all the TBR stuff that I plan to read and all of that. And yeah, so I DNF'd, where is it? I DNF'd Don't Let the Forest In by C.G. Drews. Here's the thing about this. I've seen a lot of people on Pagebound describe this as having very Tumblr writing. They're on point. For a lot of people, that's gonna work for them. For me, no. It barely worked for me when I was on Tumblr 15 years ago. It's not working for me now. The drama of this, the melodrama of the main character and the boy he's in love with and just all of that, I couldn't do it. I got about 3 or 4 chapters in and I was like, no. There are people out there stronger than I who finished this. And I'm not one of God's strongest soldiers, so DNF. I also, and I'm gonna call this a soft DNF, a sample Audition by Katie Kitamura. This is one of the shortlists for the Booker, was the only one that really intrigued me. And honestly, the reason I DNF this is because of the writing, and it has no quotation marks, and I just wasn't in the mindset to really dig into that form of writing at this moment. So this is, I'm taking it back to the library. When I get a hankering for it again, I may try it. Maybe I'll try it on audio. But yeah, the writing was not doing it for me now. I did, however, read the 4 volumes of Zom 100 that I got. So these are volumes 13 through, I have them all backwards, 13 through 16 of Zom 100, which is also one of my favorite manga series. It is not huge change here. There is some forward movement in the romance, which was great, but essentially it's the same story. The characters are doing bucket list stuff. They're silly, they're stupid, they love each other and would die for each other and save each other all the time, and everything is goofy, and I love this series. So very enjoyable afternoon of reading these 4 volumes. All right, what else I read haven't talked about yet? Let's talk about the books that I actually read. I did read a couple of things before or during this vlog that I just haven't talked about. So I read Extremity by Nicholas Benji. This, I got this last week. It was supposed to come out today, but it was out early on the shelves at the bookstore. And what I like to do is I'll grab a couple of books that I'm interested in. I'll sit at the cafe and I'll read the first chapter or the first little bit of everything. Started reading this and I didn't want to stop. So it was the only book I bought that day. Came home at night, finished it that night. I enjoy this a lot. It's a sci-fi mystery where this character Julia, she's a very infamous detective for this case where she was undercover for very many years. And she is retired, and her former colleague gets a case that has a very strange murder victim, and he goes back to drag her into it because the murder victim is somebody that she knew when she was undercover. And this poor hapless cop, I keep forgetting what the British versions of them are. This poor hapless cop, he's basically a beat cop. He gets dragged along because he was like the right guy at the wrong time. Essentially, the strange murder victim is that this guy is found dead, and then his exact copy of his body is also found murdered miles away at the exact same time. So Julia's drawn back in, and then it's told in as if we are sitting down with these characters as they are telling the story in not interrogations, but like reports, interview reports with their seniors. So we get a lot of forward momentum, lots of moving between characters, which is kind of fun. One thing about that is that I don't think the character voices were incredibly distinct from each other. Sometimes I'd have to remind myself who I was supposed to be, whose voice I was supposed to be in. But the story pacing is quick. The story was interesting, a little creepy. So I really enjoyed it. I don't know that this is going to be for everybody though. I don't know that I can recommend this widely, but if you enjoy sci-fi mystery thrillers, if you enjoy weird case with some sci-fi elements, check it out. I had a lot of fun, but again, I don't know that this is going to be for everybody. I also read Death at the Sanatorium by Ragnar Jonasson. This is an Icelandic mystery, very in the vein of Agatha Christie. The author actually, I think maybe it was the afterword of this book, he talks about how he translated a lot of Agatha Christie from from English to Icelandic, and so he finally took his a chance at writing his own version of a Christie. This is the story of a guy who is sort of looking back at this murder that happened at a sanatorium in the past. This all takes place in Iceland, and he is doing like a dissertation on it, and he's interviewing a lot of the people that were there. So then we get two timelines. We get the current day timeline, which is like 2012, and then the murder timeline, which is 83. And it's very, very, I would say it's very well written mystery. The characters are very realized. Some of the characters are just like so well realized that I wanted to reach through the pages and strangle them. There's a lot going on with the main character, Helgi himself. This is called the Helgi trilogy. So this is a trilogy about him. Something's going on in his personal life, which I was thinking it was gonna have a big twist that just didn't happen. I enjoyed this. I think Helgi's personal life, and honestly, the reveal of what was going on with him and the last chapter really knocked this down for me, because I don't think that was handled well, and I don't think that it was necessary for the end of this book. I gave that 3 stars, but I still had a good time with it. If you're looking for a straight up just good mystery, and it's Icelandic, it's translated from Icelandic, so there you go. Okay, I read a graphic novel called All Princesses Die Before Dawn by Quentin Zutillon. I believe this is translated from French. This is a story that takes place over the course of one day into the next morning on the day of Princess Diana's death. We are following this one family in their home over the course of this day. The young boy is about I want to say 8 to 10 years old, and he is kind of he plays with lipstick. He's interested in dolls. He is just doesn't really understand his feelings for his boy best friend. His best friend comes over to spend the night, and there's just a lot of he likes to wear a towel on his head and be the princess that needs saving when they play and stuff like that. So he doesn't really understand this, and he has these feelings for his best friend, and he's not really sure. He wants to kiss him, stuff like this. So, we have that storyline going. Then we have the storyline with his older sister, who is a teenager. She has a boyfriend, and she's kind of in the throes of young love and trying to figure things out on that end, and stuff happens with her. And then we have his mother and their kind of sort of absent father, who comes home that day, and their marriage is essentially barely holding together. So you have this arc of young love to the first blush of feelings to being deep in your feelings, and then something falling apart. So this kind of gradient of what love can be like, all taking course in the small family and the way that they interact together. It's just a really lovely story. It's emotional. The art is fantastic. It's done kind of in a oil water painting kind of style, and then just the ending when everything comes together, the way the family comes together, it's so well done. I gave it 4.5 stars, but honestly I'm probably gonna bump it up to 5 stars. This is just really, really, really well done. I really think everybody should check this out if you have it at your library. It's absolutely worth a read. Okay, and then I read Paloma, which is the first book, graphic novel, comic in the Misfit Club for Girls, which is also a French series. This is just the story of this young girl who has been through many foster care homes over the years. She's very angry, she's very lonely, and there's a bunch of girls at school. One of them, she's kind of like a hacker type, and she lures them all together to this club, and she's like, hey, you know, we're the loners, we're the misfits. Wouldn't it be great if we form a club and become friends together so we don't have to be alone? We can be together and make our own friendships. Paloma is not down for that. So their first mission is to befriend Paloma. As the story goes on, we learn more about Paloma and her history in foster care and why she's so angry. And from what I can tell, there's 4 different books, maybe 5, each one focusing on a different girl in the club. We learn more about their issues and their past. So I like this one well enough. The art is really interesting. I don't know, it was a good time. I gave it 3 stars, but it wasn't bad, but I think it could have used a little more depth here and there, but I enjoyed it enough that I'm gonna read the rest of the series for all the girls. That is it. And what I'm currently reading. So I am still very slowly making my way through The End of the World as We Know It. And I am, I don't know, about that far in. So not far at all in this giant tome. And then, like I said, the whole thing about my TBR, all the books I got from the library. Yeah, you know what I did? I picked a mass market from my sci-fi list up here, and I started Pandora's Star by Peter F. Hamilton, a 988-page sci-fi epic space opera book. I don't know, I should know better, but anytime I grab a bunch of stuff, I have a time limit, you know, for my library. I have to get these read in a certain time. I have this plans that I want to read stuff. I don't want to do any of it. If I have to do it, I don't want to do it. So then I was just like, I'm just gonna try this. And then I read like 60 pages in one night and I was like, oh fuck, well, I'm in it. So far we are in 2380. Humanity has spread to the stars, colonized all kinds of planets and galaxies. There's wormhole tech. There's all kinds of stuff. It's very, I wouldn't say utopian, but very advanced, very good society, essentially. Humanity is doing well. We should say that. And then this astrologer on a small planet notices that these twin stars, one of them goes out in like under a minute, which doesn't happen because if a star goes supernova, you can see it over time. But this one, it literally goes out in a minute, which can't happen. So he wormholes to another planet, which is, I believe, a few light years away. So there's still time. And the second star goes out and he gets that recorded. And that is a big thing. And then, so we're following a bunch of different characters. So we're following him. We're following an astronaut who was one of the first men to walk on Mars. Oh, also there's like human rejuvenation. So humans go through like rejuvenations. So they will age and then rejuvenate their bodies to start life again as a youngster. So we have characters who are like hundreds of years old. So this guy, I haven't reached the part yet, but he's going to be sent on a mission to the star to see what happened. Right now it's just like the World Council, like trying to figure out like what the possibilities are. And then we're also following another character who is basically a terrorist. Because there's this group who kind of oppose a lot of the societal structure, like why is food being wasted when that food can go to literally every person in the entirety of the human universe that they occupy, stuff like that. But he has committed terrorism and terroristic acts that have killed many innocent people. So we do have this kind of like really intense thrillery kind of like spy slice of chapter, which was really fantastic. A fantastic introduction to him and that story. So there's all these storylines that are starting, and of course, you know, they're probably going to intersect in some way, and I am into it. Like sometimes I really just want like a good dense, like lots of characters doing a lot of big epic stuff and things are going to come together. This is scratching that itch. This is doing it. So I am 80 pages into a 988-page book. So we'll see how this wrecks all my reading for the end of the year. I do still have a lot of manga graphic novels checked out from the library, checked out on Libby. So I am reading those occasionally. But yeah, that is how my beginning of October has gone. I don't know why I'm surprised at all at myself. I should have known this would happen, but anyways, yeah, this was a vlog, I guess, update, recent reads kind of thing. I don't know. This is a work in progress. We'll see. Kind of like, I want to vlog more, but my life is so boring during the week. I don't do a lot. I go to work, I come home, I lie in bed and read, fall asleep, go to work, etc. Like my commute's long, so that's really all I do during the week. So yeah, it's a vlog. Working from home today, and I got a random piece of mail from St. Martin's Press. If it is what I think it is, it might be Blood for the Undying Throne, but I don't know, let's find out. It is. Yay. This is a finished copy. Blood for the Undying Throne by Kim Sung-il. This is a second book in a trilogy. Second book in a trilogy, Korean translated fantasy, epic fantasy. Yeah, I DNF'd the arc mainly because I think it just wasn't doing stuff with characters that I was interested in, but I think it's one of those DNFs that I'm probably gonna come back to this like next year at some point and see if maybe it was not just the book, but also like my own reading at the time. So very gorgeous purple. Anyways, yeah, thanks, Tor. Warm. I took my glasses off. It's for some reason we have a heat wave in SoCal. It's like 80 freaking degrees. Wild. So yeah, from the last clip, what I've read after that, let's see. I did continue on in the Misfit Club for Girls, the French comic series. I read all four basically. So the first one was oh god, what was her name? Paloma. And then I read on to read Celeste, Sierra, and Apolline. And then I found out that the last book is not available anywhere. And that's the most interesting one, the most interesting girl. So I have put requests in through my library. I was so upset. And it's like, none of these books ever got more than 3 or 3.5 stars. But I got invested in the girls' lives. So essentially each comic book is about 50 pages. We're following the same club of girls as they deal with their lives and, you know, their traumas and being friends and engaging together. And we learn about each of, you know, what makes them tick. And some of them have deeper traumas than others, but you get really close to the girls. And this feels a little bit kind of like a little bit of a fantasy in terms of like, you know, if I was able to have this group of friends and I could just pack up and like move away from my trauma, I could do that, especially with what's her name, with Celeste. The ending for Celeste is a little very fantasy-ish, and I'm not talking about like fantasy like super like natural fantasy, just like a fantasy of what you wish your life could be. So but other than that, they've been good. Obviously, I'm very upset I don't have the last one because I got super into these girls and their lives, and just I'm gonna be looking out for the last one. I can't believe, like, I got so upset when I went to my library and I couldn't get the last one. What did I read after that? Because I was crocheting so much, I needed audiobook time. So I finally got off the wait list at my library for A Mouthful of Dust by Nevo. This is book 6 in the Singing Hill cycle. And Singing Hill Cycle is one of my favorite series going on right now. It's a great fantasy novella series. We follow cleric Chi. They're part of the Singing Hills monastery, and their job as clerics is to go out and record the stories of the world. So each novella, Chi is off on a different adventure. In this one, they go to a town that experienced a severe famine years before Chi arrives. She is just hoping to get stories and goes into this town. Something's not quite right with the magistrate, and I'll leave it at that. I think this is one of the best entries in the series. It's quite short. The audiobook was literally only like a little over 2 hours. It's just, it packs a punch. There's always been like these kind of like small stories within stories. So there's a couple of chapters that are kind of like a character telling a story. It's been fantastic. So another great entry. Book 7 is already announced and ready to be published early next year. So this series keeps on trucking, and I'm just happy reading them every time they come out. All right, then I read Hat Atelier volumes 12 and 13, and I don't know how much to say with this because they are volumes 12 and 13, and if you're not following the series, it makes no damn sense. But this follows this world where magic is kind of controlled, and this young girl, Coco, I'm trying to remember what happened. Something happens and her mom is turned basically into a statue, and she is kind of adopted by this witch who takes her under his wing, and she becomes a young witch, and it's just following her adventures with him and the other 3 witches that she's with, and just kind of exploring, becoming a witch, learning magic, exploring the land. And she runs into a lot of kind of like moral ethical quandaries as she's learning like how magic is treated and controlled. And this one, there's a lot of like stuff going on, and they do run headlong into a lot of those ethical questions about how their magic is used and hidden and stuff like that. So lots of action, especially in volume 12. Very, very action heavy, but it's really cool. We follow a lot of characters across this big event that's going on. The art is gorgeous as always. I think there's an anime coming out this year if it hasn't come out already, so I'm definitely tuning into that. 4 stars each. And then last for this month, I read Birds of Prey Volume 1, Megadeth. This is the series being written by Kelly Thompson. So in this one, Black Canary puts together a new team because she needs to go on a very difficult mission that she wants very hush-hush. And this team consists of Big Bertha, Cassandra Cain, who is a Batgirl, I already forgot, someone who is like kind of a psychic, someone who has zappy powers, and Harley Quinn. I really, as someone who just dips into DC in terms of like, I literally just saw this on Hoopla. I was like, ooh, a number 1. I like Kelly Thompson's writing. This team has Harley Quinn. Interesting. I checked it out because that's just how I approach DC. I know a lot of DC by osmosis and just by reading random things here and there. So this volume, it was really good at introducing and reintroducing characters to me. The ones I didn't know about, I got decent introductions, and the ones I did know about, I didn't feel like I was retreading super old ground. This team is put together to go do something, and I am not sure just how much to give away, but it's really cool. I gave it 4 stars, and the only reason I gave it 4 and not 4.5 or 5 is that most of the art is done in this very like old comic style, and issue 5 was drawn by a completely different person. And that does happen, you know, maybe an artist can't do an issue in time, but this person, the original art, old school, beautiful, muted, washed out colors. bam, anime faces, big eyes, pouty mouths, vibrant colors. It was so jarring, even for someone who is used to and knows that comic artists can change, you know, from one comic to another. I was like, what the fuck? Like, it was so jarring. They couldn't even get someone who was close enough to matching that style to do that comic. Like, I wonder what happened. It was just so jarring and disappointing for being in the story. Thankfully, it was only the one issue, but it was just, It was a good story. I had a good time, lots of action, lots of emotional moments. I am going to continue on in this, just keep going until I lose interest. That is, along with all the vloggy stuff, that is everything I read in October. What I am reading, I'm still in Pandora's Star. I did also read the first story On the Origin of Species and Other Stories by Kim Boyo. Kind of there. That's what I'm in the middle of. I had a lot of books out from the library. I didn't start or read any of the library books. On the Origin of Species, I'm the first story. The fourth story was, what a way to kick this off. It was so strange and intriguing and confusing and just, it was really good. It was a really good story. I am so close to being done with Pandora's Star. And I'm on page 847. Now, chapter 18? Worth it. Worth it. That was fucking, ooh, I get it now. But also, around page, like, the midway mark, probably, page 600-ish, a lot of what was making this fun in terms of world building and fully realized was starting to grate on me. And especially when I finally got the audio from the library so I could listen to it while I was crocheting, and I had to listen to, every single time we go to a new world or a new city, we have to describe everything. We have to describe the history of that world, the history of that city. When we go to New Venice, we describe the history of the terraforming and everything. And like at a certain point, it's too much, right? So I enjoy that depth of world building. I know this man has this entire world mapped out, this entire galaxy, the entire commonwealth of planets that humans have colonized, mapped out in his head, and that's fantastic. But it's just so much. There is a reason this book is almost 1,000 pages, and I don't think it needed to be almost 1,000 pages. And also, there's certain characters where I can kind of see what their place is in the greater story, but they also feel a little extraneous. And I'm so close to the end, like these characters are not going to impact the plot at all. So I know there's a second book, and this is a duology, so, and it's also almost 1,000 pages, so am I gonna have to read another 1,000 pages to have these characters connect and see what happens? A very strong start. It is still a strong story. It's still going strong, but I just wish so much, and this is crazy as someone who loves fantasy and sci-fi and world building and all of that, but the world building could have been taken back a skosh, just a little bit. We could have shaved off literally like 200 pages from this. We could have shaved off so much. Anyways, I'm gonna finish it this weekend. I'm so close to the end. I'm gonna finish it this weekend. I guess it'll count for a November book read because I'll finish it in November, but yeah, almost done with Pandora's Star. That is my October. I hope you enjoyed this. I don't know what this is going to turn out to be because I'm going to start editing today. We'll see. Let me know what you thought about everything I've read. Let me know what you're looking forward to reading. And as always, thank you for watching. I will catch you next time. Bye.